students, today I will give you the summary of the lesson that is on the face of it. The story is about a teenage boy, Derry, who has a burnt face, and Mr. Lamp, who is a disabled old man with an artificial leg made of tin. Derry accidentally enters his garden so that he can hide himself from people who hate him because of his ugly face. And Mr. Lamp not only welcomes him in his garden but also encourages him to lead a normal life, leaving behind his past. So, I will give you the summary of the lesson now. The story begins with a teenage boy entering a garden, and his face is burnt on one side due to an accident when acid fell on half of his face. He has gone there to hide himself as he is afraid of facing people, and he fears being teased by others for having such a face. But when he enters, he finds someone already present there. He tries to leave the place, but he is stopped by the old man, Mr. Lamp, the owner of the garden. And Derry feels guilty for entering the garden without permission. But Mr. Lamp, he welcomes him and tells him not to leave just because of his presence. And Derry wants to leave as he thinks people don't like his face, and moreover, they get afraid of his looks. But Mr. Lamp insists him to stay there, and he enters into a conversation that how Derry is not liked by anyone and how he hates people behaving like this with him. Mr. Lamp tries to console him, and he tells him that he has a tin leg and kids make fun of him, and they have also given him a name, that is Lampy Lamp. Still, he is not depressed and enjoys his life. They both talk about various things, and this leads to revelation of Derry's fear, depression, and hatred among his being in such condition. But Mr. Lamp keeps on telling him to think of the positive things. Soon they become friends, and Mr. Lamp asks him to help him in plucking the crab apples of his garden. Derry tells him that he had come too far from his home and hadn't told anything about this to his mother. Mr. Lamb tells him to take permission from his mother. Derry finds it difficult, and this leads to a small quarrel between both of them. At last, Derry tells him that he would come back after taking his mother's permission, and his mother does not want him to go back, but he comes back again to fulfill his promise. Meanwhile, Mr. Lamb climbs the ladder on his own to pluck the crab apples, as he was sure that Derry would not return, and he was disabled, and it was difficult for him to climb. Mr. Lamp, he falls from his ladder and dies. Derry, on the other hand, returns to the garden to help him. When he enters the garden, he sees Mr. Lamp lying on the garden floor, and Derry tries hard to make him move but did not get any response from him. Finally, he comes to know that he is dead, and he starts crying. On the face of it is an informal expression used to say that what may seem good, but this opinion may change when you know more about it. Mr. Lamp is called Lampy Lamp, and mothers were afraid of sending their children because of his tin leg. And Derry has a burnt face, and everyone pities him. Only a mother could love such a face. Both Mr. Lamp and Derry have been facing hatred. Mr. Lamp takes comments lightly, but Derry does not have the attitude like Mr. Lamp, and the attitude of the people needs to be changed. On the face of it, both suffer from disability, but their attitudes are very different, and the title is therefore justified.